problem. A claim is being denied. Can you help me with this claim? No, but you do because you're a nice person. And you call the carrier, you call the broker, and say, hey, listen, this claim is being denied. What do we do here? So when you have somebody who's being let go, the company is not, by policy, normally just allowed to just let somebody stay on the plan, because that's a violation, as we said, of the plan and can be considered insurance fraud. Now, a lot of employers, in our experience, do this, and they don't even tell their broker, right? They don't even tell DBP, apparently I have Alzheimer's now, out in Phoenix, that says, hey, listen, I just want to let you know we let this guy go. So Dooley doesn't even know that their client has let somebody go. The carrier or third-party administrator doesn't even know that the guy doesn't even work there, because the employer didn't consult with anybody about just keeping somebody insured. So when does this become a problem? Well, where we've been drawn into it is usually with a COBRA aspect, is where, you know, somebody's been given 6 months of severance and been kept under the group plan under fraudulent activities by the employer, although I'm sure they wouldn't consider it fraudulent. They're just giving the guy severance. And then what happens is the guy has a major claim during this, quote, severance period, and the carrier starts digging around, or the TPA starts digging around, or if you're self-funded, you have a reinsurer that's on top of you there, and they ask for payroll records, for example. And they say, oh, okay, well, before we pay this big whopper of a claim, why don't you give us the payroll records to verify that he's a full-time employee? Well, we don't have payroll records. Well, what do you mean? Why don't you have payroll records? That's when we start sweating. Well, we let the guy go 4 months ago. And then what's the question from the carrier or the reinsurer carrier? Well, why is he still on the group plan? Well, because we just kept him insured. Well, that violates the terms of the policy. You know, so those are the calls we get, right? And I know some employers will do this. They'll say this on severance. All right, this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're just going to give him severance, and we're going to keep him insured for 6 months. And what we're going to do is we'll keep him on the payroll. That's what we'll do. We'll send him a check every 2 weeks or twice a month or whatever your payroll is. So we'll just keep him, and we'll pay him for that 6-month period. That way, if somebody ever asks, we can show what? Yeah, he was an employee. Therefore, there's no fraud there. Well, where we've seen some problems is most policies have what's called an actively at work clause. So it's not just, are you on the payroll? Are you actively at work? Well, no, we let him go 4 months ago. Well, then he's not actively at work. So I'm not saying that payroll records wouldn't fly. Maybe that's all the carrier would ask for. And if you produce the payroll records, they might go, oh, okay, great, he's a full-time employee. And you wipe your brow and you say, okay, we got through that one. Or if the carrier says, okay, prove to us that he's actively employed, well, then you might have a problem. So our advice is always, and I think Dooley and all the brokers that we have out there with us would advise you to do the same thing. When you have somebody who experiences an event, whether it's a termination,